Welcome into TFW Live, the best kept secret in fantasy football, where we keep that week one feeling going all year long. This is episode 338, where we're going to be talking about the injury news and nuggets from around the NFL heading into week 7, helping you get your lineup right. I'm Austin Sear, and a shout out to you, Whisper Nation. What up, Jersey J in the chat already? Great to have the faithful here with us and all who will be joining in. This month, I am very excited to announce that we are going to be giving away to one of our lucky Patreon subscribers. That's right, to our Patreon subscribers. You can sign up for Patreon at patreon.com/thefantasywhispers. We are going to be doing a drawing giveaway for an autographed David Njoku mini helmet. That's right, tight end breakout, former first-round pick. Cleveland Browns number 2 option right now for Brissett. David Njoku, get that autographed mini helmet. All you got to do is sign up and be a member of our Patreon. You can sign up again at patreon.com/thefantasywhispers. The gratitude keeps on flowing for our subscribers through YouTube who support the show through their own monthly subscription. Shout out to them now. Gus Ramos, Pizza Belly, Dom Caples, Bailey Ziegler, Kevin Davi, Nick, Brett Zabo, John Credit, Eric Lorenzen, Donnie Tubbs, and the Hanimal. If you would like to join a growing list of YouTube members who support the Fantasy Whisperer, just go ahead and click join next to the video. And if you love fantasy football, I would enjoy joining a community where you know that you belong. You don't need to pay a monthly subscription. While we appreciate it, you get a lot of cool shit if you do. We'd love just to have you with us for our shows. Go ahead and click subscribe. We'd love to grow one more member of Whisper Nation today. Really, at the end of it, it's all about talking about this thing we love so much with other people who love it so much, and that's fantasy football. So go ahead and think about joining Whisper Nation, and if you're streaming into the show, let us know where you're watching in from. We'd love to shout you out here live on the show. Well, for this episode, we're going to first talk a little bit about yesterday's game and the reactions we had to that, as before we then get into the news and notes from around the rest of the NFL. I'm actually going to make this. I'm going to give you the bigger one here. Take a look at some of these scores. Send me your questions, your lineup questions, your trade questions, either or. Ranch or blue cheese, butter or non-buttered popcorn, whatever kind of question you got going on this Friday evening, let me know, and I'll do my best to get that question answered when you bring it up, especially if it's relevant to the topic at hand. But I promise you I will get to every single question by the end of the show. Looking at yesterday's game, man, New Orleans, a little bit of a surprise defeat against the Arizona Cardinals. Andy Dalton here taking first look at the quarterback position. While he finished with a strong 38 points in fantasy, 4 touchdowns and over 360 yards passing, it was those 2 pick sixes that really sunk the New Orleans Saints and benefited the Arizona Cardinals. Because I'll tell you what, they were not getting it done, the Cardinals, that is. Kyler Murray is concerning to me from an NFL standpoint, from a fantasy standpoint. I'm not concerned long-term, but I am very concerned about this relationship between Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. It does not seem like they are benefiting one another. They're making it work, sort of, all the way to a 3-4 record, but they're not making one another better. I hate to call Cliff Kingsbury a fake sharp, but it's sticking. I'm feeling it. And Kyler Murray needs a little bit of guidance. Kyler Murray needs a system to operate within, and it doesn't appear like Cliff Kingsbury is able to put that system forward. Nonetheless, the Cardinals won this one. 19.91 points from Kyler Murray, 38.04 from Andy Dalton. What do you guys think about Kyler Murray? Is he someone that you would be trying to buy low now that we got DeAndre Hopkins back? You assume they're going to work well together as they have in years past. Should add a little bit of ceiling to the performances of Kyler Murray, but we didn't see it yesterday. And watching the game, I wasn't impressed. I was concerned. I'm watching him get sacked. I'm not watching him use his legs in the best way that I think he should. We'll see. Let me know what you think about Kyler Murray rest of season. Andy Dalton, on the other hand, that was a stream of the week if you had him picked up. I don't know how many of you are actually streaming Andy Dalton, though. Probably not a wise choice, but a nice finish nonetheless. Eno Benjamin, I'll tell you what, in our Liga record, shout out Alex Navratil. He had Eno Benjamin going, as well as scrolling down here, Jawan Johnson, tight end here for the New Orleans Saints, picked him up a couple minutes before kickoff, filling in for bye weeks, and he enjoyed 5 catches on 5 targets for 32 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Going back up, though, to the earlier positions here. Quick review on the running backs. Eno Benjamin filling in as, of course, James Conner was out. Darrell Williams is out. Ingram and Benjamin took the duties, and they did good work. 12 carries and 92 yards and a touchdown for Eno Benjamin. He also caught 4 out of 5 targets for 21 yards and another touchdown. Ingram also is getting in pay dirt with a rushing touchdown of his own. 9 carries, 14 yards, not as efficient, but he was out there still and caught both his targets for 23 yards. On the Saints side of the ball, Alvin Kamara looks like he's getting it going. He still hasn't found the end zone yet, but 11 carries, 49 yards, efficient production, and doing work through the air as he always does. 7 catches on 9 targets, 56 yards. Ingram's coming in there, and he's being that speller for Ingram. Not really concerning. I did like seeing Kamara involved on the goal line. He didn't get in, but he did get a couple of opportunities, and I've seen in earlier weeks Ingram serving in that role. So I was really personally stoked to see Kamara at least involved and on the field when they got closer to the end zone. I hope that continues. I'm also really stoked to say that Kamara's got 10 days now. It looks like he got out of this Thursday night game without re-aggravating his fractured rib cartilage. Now he's going to get an extended amount of time coming off another efficient, solid production day with over 100 yards total. I like what we should see out of Kamara next week when they play the Las Vegas Raiders at home in New Orleans. So that's making me feel good. I picked him up first round in my league of record. What are you guys feeling about Kamara? Are you holding him? Would you sell him high? What are you thinking? I would love to hear about it. Taking a look at the wide receivers, DeAndre Hopkins in his return from the PED suspension had 14 targets. He caught 10 of them for over 100 yards, 103, 4 first downs as well. That was pretty productive. Chris Olave, he came back from that concussion and eclipsed 100 yards himself. Caught half his targets, 14 targets. Woo, that's a lot. 7 of them for 106 yards. This guy looks like the real deal. Nothing else standing out to you. Yeah, Shaheed had the touchdown on his only catch on that bomb play for the first score from New Orleans. That was pretty awesome. Didn't do anything else after that. Traquan Smith was involved there. 6 targets, 5 catches, 59 yards. I gotta say, I was bummed, man, with Rondale Moore. I was hoping to see a little bit more production out of the sophomore speedster. Caught 1 target on 2 catches for 31 yards. Just to watch him rest of season. Dortch came back and caught a tutty. Hasn't been active the last couple weeks following that strong start. Here we are. And oh my God, got a shout out here to Mr. Kevin White. Wow, that was a great play where he tightrope walk all the way down the sideline. I'd forgotten Kevin White was around. I was so high on Kevin White when he was coming out of college, and it was good to see him be productive still moving forward. Robbie Anderson, welcome to Arizona. No action for you. 1 target, no catches. Callaway Marquez, 2 catches on 6, whatever. Juwan Johnson, that was the sneaky pickup. Nice play. Alex, Zach Ertz, you're probably a little bit disappointed. You did like that he got that 2-point conversion, but just 2 catches for 21 yards. Trey McBride, no action. And then we've got everybody's favorite. What do I do about this guy? What's up, Albert? Good to see you, man. Taysom Hill, he's an up and down roller coaster. 48 yards on 2 catches. Had 3 carries for 9 yards. And did get in the end zone there on a catch of his own. 10.37 fantasy points in full point PPR. We'll see what he does next week. Hey, there's my kicker in the listener league. Got Will Lutz. I'm feeling all right about that. Rodrigo Blankenship, the certified fuck machine, is kicking rocks for the Arizona Cardinals. And I will give him a shout out on his first field goal. It was good for 61 yards. Distance was a little concern on Rodrigo Blankenship in his Indianapolis days. So I'm excited to see him get that 50-plus field goal through the uprights. And then and it had some extra juice on it to go. Cardinals defense was a strong play. Johnny picked him up in our Dynasty Whisper League. He forgot to putting him in. That one always stings a little bit, but good showing there from the Cardinals defense, or maybe just a bad showing from Andy Dalton on those 2 throws. What do you think? Was it a better Cardinals defensive play, or was it a bad Andy Dalton play? Either way, that is the recap on yesterday's game. Jumping straight into the news and notes from around the NFL here. The Baltimore Ravens are the first squad with news for us to look into. J.K. Dobbins is expected to undergo Arthroscopic knee surgery next week. That'll sideline him for a month to a month and a half. Dang. He had those 2 touchdowns a few weeks back, and now he's going to be back in the recovery room. We've got Lamar Jackson off the injury report. Stoked to see that. Rashad Bateman's questionable against the Browns this week. Got in 3 limited practices after missing all possible practice sessions as well as games in both weeks 5 and 6. Bateman spoke to the media and said he wanted to play. So we'd call him on the optimistic side of questionable, given that John Harbaugh said he was close earlier in the week. Sliding is Baltimore's number 2 behind Mark Andrews. I am not in love with Rashad Bateman coming back this week. If you're not able to start anybody else, though, I mean, you feel okay about Rashad Bateman, but I'm not looking his direction if I can help it. We got some news about the Gus bus coming back. Where are we at on this? Let me get rid of you guys. Love you guys. Bye. Where's our Gus bus news? Greg Roman told reporters he's really excited to be getting Gus Edwards back. It's in the final week of his 21-day window to return. It's definitely possibly gets activated ahead of week 7. Hold your breath. The quote sure reads like they'd expect Edwards back. He'll be eased in if he does play this week, most likely. So take that with a grain of salt. And I'd probably just steer away from any Baltimore Ravens running back this week if you can help it. Moving on to the Buffalo Bills here, where they have no relevant news between last week's action and today. So we'll take a look at the Carolina Panthers, who have been active. Deonta Foreman, we're assuming, will be probably the first go, given that Christian McCaffrey is rocking a 49ers uniform now. It also could be Chuba Hubbard, though. They've gotten 12 carries for Foreman. They've gotten 6 carries for Hubbard. That's not a lot of action. And Matt Rule is out of Carolina. The fill-in coach, Steve Wilkes, said he's not going to name a starting running back ahead of week 7. He's going to play the hot hand. Love that approach. So, the question is, should you pick up Foreman? Should you pick up Hubbard? I think you probably should. I don't expect a lot out of them, but it's a decent lotto ticket. Even on bad teams, guys can come in and be productive. James Robinson out of the Jacksonville Jaguars several years ago. We're talking about an undrafted free agent who comes in and performs as an RB1, does the same thing the next year. We've got another rough team in the Houston Texans. Dameon Pierce, the rookie, is kicking ass. So even I know they're on a bad team. Deonta Foreman and Chuba Hubbard have had productive days in the last year. And it could happen again. So if you've got the roster space, I'd really encourage you to consider picking up Foreman or Hubbard. Everybody's question in Carolina, for the most part, has been about DJ Moore. What do we do with DJ Moore? What's the optimism levels on DJ Moore? Do you hold him? Do you sell him? Fantasy managers are asking that question. The Carolina Panthers are asking that question. According to the Panthers, though, they consider Moore a foundational piece to the roster. I hope you don't consider DJ Moore a foundational piece to your fantasy roster, because you're kind of screwed, most likely, if that's the case. So it sounds like they want to hold on to DJ Moore. He's super talented. He's 25. It does make some sense to me. You could still keep him on the squad, figure out your quarterback situation, make your coaching decisions, really revamp the whole team and still have DJ Moore a part of it with prime left to go. So I get that. I hope for his sake, though, they do a full rebuild and get DJ Moore out of that powder blue and into a new uniform there. Christian McCaffrey is with the 49ers. We'll get to them here as we work down alphabetically. We got PJ Walker starting for the Panthers. I don't recommend you start PJ Walker on your fantasy squad. We'll see how Sam Darnold's recovery timeline keeps moving forward. That could be good news for the Carolina Panthers offense overall, including DJ Moore. Moving now to the Chicago Bears. The last bit of news they gave us was on the 13th. That's all old. Moving on to Cincinnati. T. Higgins is not listed on Cincinnati's final injury report. Yes. I've been concerned about T. Higgins. It seems like a little lingering thing that Zach Taylor doesn't seem to committed to healing. He keeps wanting to get him out there for as much time as he possibly can. I don't love that. Looking, though, down at Jamar Chase, he's got a hip issue. Anyone heard more on this hip? It's a little bit concerning. He's on my league of record. But his concern for activation this week is 0. He'll be out there. He's going to be in my lineup. I encourage you to make sure Jamar Chase is in your lineup as well. What's up, Antonio? Would you take Henry and Justin Jefferson for Swift, Walker, and Amon-Ra or A.J. Brown? Ooh, this is a meaty trade question. Would I take, I assume this is Derrick Henry and Justin Jefferson in exchange for DeAndre Swift, Ken Walker, and Amon-Ra St. Brown or A.J. Brown? I think I want the side that's getting Kenneth Walker. I want to be on that 3 side. Now, this is rare because usually the side that gets the best player is the side that wins the trade. And Justin Jefferson is the best player. I'm really excited about Kenneth Walker III. I think Ken Walker right now is one of the best running backs from a just straight up, like if you're an alien looking down and you don't know anything about football and you're just watching every running back in the NFL do their thing, I think Ken Walker is one of the best running backs in the NFL right now. He's doing moves that I'm like, is he doing this by accident? He's got such jiggle. He's got patience. He's got burst. He's tough. His counter moves are insane. He's finding whole horizons of daylight to just carve into. And this is what we expected out of Ken Walker coming from Michigan State, taking 1 pick behind Breece Hall, who was the first running back taken off the board. Like, Ken Walker is supposed to be good, and he's looking even better than advertised. It's a relatively small sample size, but it's been so consistent. I want Ken Walker. I'm not giving Ken Walker away. I think Ken Walker is going to be a league winner, especially considering where you likely got him, either round 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or you got him off of waivers. No, I like that. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, when he was healthy, he was a wide receiver 1. Same thing with A.J. Brown. Same thing with DeAndre Swift. No, I like the Kenneth Walker, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and DeAndre Swift side. You've got wide receiver and RB1s, 3 of them for 2. And I don't know if Derrick Henry is elite at this point. I think Kenneth Walker, from this point forward, I'm not shocked if Ken Walker has more fantasy points than Derrick Henry. I'm not surprised if DeAndre Swift has more fantasy points than Derrick Henry. And I would be surprised if Amon-Ra St. Brown or A.J. Brown had more points than Justin Jefferson. But I think A.J. Brown and Amon-Ra St. Brown, barring injury, are both going to finish in the top 15 themselves. So I would keep those 3 players that you got there. Really good question, though. This one's pretty meaty. And we got through the meat of the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to go now to the Cleveland Browns. Keep in mind, Whisper Nation, if you missed the intro, all of our patrons who subscribe to the Fantasy Whispers are automatically entered this month into a draw giveaway for an autographed David Njoku mini helmet. That's right. No extra cost. Just your Patreon subscription is going to get you a ticket into this month's giveaway, which is a autographed David Njoku mini helmet. I'm actually super jelly on that one. I like David Njoku a lot. So Deshaun Watson is on track to return as is. That's really all the news that we have out of Cleveland. No news is good news in a lot of these news and Nuggets shows. Moving on to the Dallas Cowboys, Dalton Schultz is not on the final injury report. I think Dak Prescott likes that because he's not on the injury report either and is going to be out there for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott likes Dalton Schultz, likes to compile stats with him there. CeeDee Lamb practiced in full on Thursday. You're not really concerned about his opportunity shares coming in this week. Looking good there. Moving on to the... Dude, it's so bad when you just like say it. I'm just thinking about the Broncos and I start to laugh on this one. That's currently the state. Let's ride through these updates. Nathaniel Hackett said Russell Wilson hamstring is questionable. It's going to be a game time decision. Damn, that's some elevated language. Russ's hamstring has been an interesting storyline this week, and he's lost practice snaps to Brett Rypien while dealing with the injury. The way the Broncos are playing right now, you absolutely want no part of starting an injured Wilson in 1 quarterback leagues. You're not going to start Rypien either. Woof. I got to think, is his leg what's hurting the most? Is the team's ego hurting also? Is that contributing to a little bit of the fade? What's this? First off, Fleabit Peanut Monkey. I'm not going to flash your comment on here. We don't need to be derogatory towards any groups of people. But the second part of your question here, you fantasy folks jump on the obvious players. There will be other players to break out. Go on the deep players. Love taking deep takes on this one. Love that for sure. What I want to do on this show here is to make sure that we work through all of the top level bits of news, injuries, so that you can help make the best takes for your lineup decision coming in, because it's 2 days until we got Sunday kickoffs coming in. So we want to make sure we get through all that news and notes. If you have any questions about some deeper dives on the players, bring them on. Love to chop it up there. Let's see what else we got with the Broncos here. Man, Albert O now a trade candidate. Interesting. Melvin Gordon, they say he's going to remain the starting running back. I personally like Latavius Murray more than the Denver Broncos right now. I think there's down spirits. Wasn't thrilled with what we saw Melvin Gordon doing already, but he's been really good for a really long time. And if they just click a couple things in, then they'll be all right. Moving on to our Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the sun god, he's not on the injury report for week 7. Practiced in full 3 days this week. They said he's going to be getting as much targets as he can handle. It sounded like it was a high ankle sprain. They never confirmed that. That timeline for recovery is a little bit longer. I've got him in my dynasty league of record. I want to bench him. I want to bench him this week and see how he does. I got him kind of as like a back end wide receiver too, is where I'm pegging him on Ross St. Brown. DeAndre Swift, ankle, shoulder is questionable. Dan Campbell said the star back has done a little more every day to ramp it up. Running back coach Hugh Staley said they're taking it one day at a time. It sounds like he's a real questionable, so stay tuned. Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m., we'll be back on live to go over all of your lineup questions, help you get right. Make sure you're liked and subscribed. Tune in for that show. We'll see more news on DeAndre Swift. My Green Bay Packers here. Oh, Sammy Watkins. I haven't seen some Sammy Watkins news in a few weeks. His IR status, he's week 7 up in the air. Watkins has made it through practice the last few days and is practicing on Friday. He's candidate to get activated week 7 on Saturday. If he's brought back, he could come into Romeo's slot, could decrease his appeal. Watkins did get the start the last couple of the first 2 games when he was active. We'd like to see Aaron Rodgers off the injury report, practicing in full. He's not fully himself right now, though. I think his thumb is shaking him up. I think the lack of rapport with his current wide receiver core is an issue. I do like Aaron Rodgers rest of season near the second half. I think they're going to get right. I'm not playing Rodgers anywhere I can help it, though, right now. I didn't like what I saw after him last week. He looked like he was really hesitating on some of these throws. All right, so everybody else. Oh, what did happen? Avoided serious injury with Randall Cobb, but he is going to miss some time. I don't think you're starting Randall Cobb outside of pretty deep leagues, but that's good that he avoided some serious injury. Ooh, everybody rostering Dameon Pierce loves this headline. Texans coach Lovie Smith said Dameon Pierce needs to get at least 20 carries a game. Actually said the lead tailback is one who needs 20 carries. We made it clear that that is what Pierce is. Yes, he is. All right. Fire up Dameon Pierce with confidence. Jonathan Taylor is optimistic this week. He's been recovering from that ankle. He's going to play week 7, most likely. I think that's all the news we've got from the injury standpoint. Everything else is a recap. Michael Pittman looked really good in that previous week. All right. Moving now on to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We got no updates. Feeling really good about Travis Etienne. Picked him up last week in my league of record, and his metrics have just been really nice. No end zone work recently, but he looks to be coming a little ahead of James Robinson right now. I'm going to go ahead and start Trevor Lawrence this week in my league of record at the quarterbacking position. I'm feeling it. Kansas City Chiefs. Let's see here. Ooh, Odell Beckham might be going to Kansas City. Okay. I really like what Patrick Mahomes has been about for the NFL and for fantasy. This would just make him even more appealing. No impact on your Travis Kelce's, and everybody else outside of Travis Kelce is kind of a flyer. Your Mecole Hardmans, your Juju Smith-Schusters, your MVSs. Speaking of Juju Smith-Schuster, did love to see him catch 5 of his 5 targets, caught 100 for 113 yards and that tutty, but he had so much action on one play at 79 yards. Or no, that was 79 yards over the last 8 receptions. 42 yards on one play. So great day. He's got a nice floor. Juju Smith-Schuster's getting at least 5 catches most games. PPR is all right. Standard. Little bit of a disappointment so far. We'll see if that turns around. Las Vegas Raiders could use some turnaround. I don't know if they're going to get it, though. Star tight end Darren Waller is not going to play week 7. That's already been decided. We don't know, though, about Hunter Renfrow. Josh McDaniels said the wide receiver practiced, and he's hopeful that he's going to play week 7 against Houston, but we're not sure yet. With Darren Waller out, I actually would feel comfortable firing Hunter Renfrow up if we get some positive reports between now and then. Okay. Moving on to the Los Angeles Chargers. Josh Palmer got a concussion. He's not going to play this week. Blew up my bet slip. Hit on the over. I was going when we were making our bet slip last time. I had Josh Palmer as I took the under on that one. Undertaker on Josh Palmer, and he made me pay for it. So, but he's not going to do it this week because he's out. Keenan Allen, he's still questionable. Interesting rhetoric, they say, this week is with Allen, as the Chargers have rationed his reps, and Allen said he would feel more comfortable coming back after bye week. So hold your breath. We also know that Josh Kelly is out for the Chargers. Man, Chargers, I hope they can pull some things together. A lot of people had them as favorites to make it into the Super Bowl. Just not looking like they're able to bring it together right now. Neither are the Rams, man. Weird situation. Let's see what we got here. Kyren Williams, 5th-round rookie. Looks like he's going to be coming back and slotted to have a big role. You know, he got hurt week 1. Cam Akers is no longer in the picture. Kyren Williams is somebody I would speculatively pick up in leagues across the board, really, because Henderson's shown a propensity to get hurt. McVay's shown a propensity to go with a hot hand approach. We don't really know a lot about Williams. We know they like him, and we know he's coming back. They're on a bye this week, though. Just keep in mind. Allen Robinson caught 5 of 6 targets. He got 63 yards and had a touchdown. I think he's a hold candidate. Looking pretty good. Full disclosure, I did drop Allen Robinson for Chuba Hubbard. Took a flyer on him after the CMC news broke, though. So not a guy you got to hold on to, but if you got the room, he certainly brings upside. Speaking of upside, Miami Dolphins, they sure bring a lot of upside to the table as long as their players are playing. Jalen Waddle dealing with the shoulder injuries, questionable week 7 against the Steelers. Doesn't sound like they're seriously questioning him, though. You feel good about that after successful practices. I haven't seen any news on Tyreek Hill, so that's making me really happy because he was dealing with that foot injury. Had like 177 yards last week. Sounds like Tyreek Hill is excited to play again. We expect Tua back. Fingers crossed to maintain that health. Love what Tua was doing to start the year. His numbers just flat up were awesome. And we all know about the 6 touchdown come from behind game against the Ravens, but his deep metrics, his down the field accuracy, his big money throws, all were scoring really high on deep metric analysis. Gesicki, he's been getting in the end zone, doing his gritty, doing his best. I'm not recommending him starting him, but you could do worse. Working our way through the Minnesota Vikings, Justin Jefferson, just balling, doing what he's doing. That's the only bit of news that Roto World is offering us. No news is good news. Glad to see Dalvin Cook then is not taking a step back from his shoulder recovery. Nothing wrong with Adam Thielen. Start your studs. Not calling, just for the record, not calling Thielen a stud. Dalvin Cook, though. Justin Jefferson, start him. Fire him up. This is an interesting bit of news. Damian Harris out of New England was a full participant in Thursday's practice. Bummer for Ramondre Stevenson. Barring a setback, they say he appears to be ready to return after missing just 1 week because of that hamstring injury. I think they would temper his load. I feel good about Ramondre. Not as good, though, with Harris being ruled out. Mac Jones was a full participant as well. He's been recovering from that ankle injury. The midweek upgrade makes it clear he will be available to suit up Monday versus the Bears. We'll see what they decide to do with Mac Jones. Not recommending starting him, though, regardless. New Orleans Saints. We covered them at the top of the show. Interested to see what they're going to do in 10 days in their next matchup. Moving on to the New York Giants, Saquon Barkley has been dealing with that shoulder injury. Jersey J saying he thought that he was going to miss a little time. Looks like he's all right. All right enough to play, at least not on the injury report. This is good news. Kadarius Toney, is he doing his homework? He's got a hamstring injury. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but he's not going to be playing this week. Wan'Dale Robinson, seeing no news about Wan'Dale. That's good because he is a breakout candidate. I think he's probably going to be their number one wide receiver when it's all said and done. I don't know how viable that wide receiver one for the New York Giants will be, but if you had to ask me who I think it will be, I think Wan'Dale's got a real good shot. Other team in New York, the Jets. We've got some drama in the wide receiver room. Elijah Moore is asking to be traded, but the Jets have no plans to move him, but they're not going to play him this week. So they said, no, we're not going to trade you. And we're not going to play you either. Saleh said Moore is back in the Jets building, but has been excused from the team meetings ahead of Sunday's game against Denver. Saleh said the Jets can't trade Moore, and the team would continue working with the disgruntled second-year receiver. We'll see. And that's looking like all of the news out of the Jets organization. Excited to see Breece Hall play this week. The Eagles don't have any news for us. Moving on to the Pittsburgh Steelers, where Pat Freiermuth cleared the concussion protocol. He practiced full this week. Good to go week 7. Not recommending starting him, but if you're looking for a streamer, you could do worse than Pat Freiermuth. Love seeing Kenny Pickett coming back. He had some excitement he brought to the table. Then he got hurt. Now he's out of the concussion protocol. We're expecting him to get the start on Sunday night. That's good. I like that for George Pickens. I like that for Najee Harris. I like that for the entire lineup in Pittsburgh. I wouldn't recommend starting Kenny Pickett just yet if you can avoid it, but in deeper leagues, sure. 49ers newly acquired weapon Christian McCaffrey. They think there's a pretty good chance he's going to play week 7. Traded the Niners Thursday night. Would not see a full complement of snaps. Makes sense, but would be used around the end zone. I'd feel all right with Christian McCaffrey in my flex. And moving forward, I'm really excited about what this could mean for Christian McCaffrey's fantasy production. I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw out a hot take. If you've got somebody in your league who is looking at Christian McCaffrey as an elite running back right now, and you can get a haul for him, I would make that trade. At least if you can get that kind of value and you can get it for something that's a little bit more reliable than an often injured running back who just got dealt to a new team, I would consider making that trade. I'm thinking of when Trent Richardson years ago was traded out of Cleveland and landed with Andrew Luck in the Indianapolis Colts. And it was like, oh my God, this team is going to absolutely smash. And Trent Richardson was hot garbage the rest of the season. And you could have got a haul for him if you made the deal before we actually saw him with some game action in that new uniform. So just a thought, something to consider if you're rostering Christian McCaffrey. Looks like no more news out of the 49ers. Glad to see George Kittle being healthy, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. Sorry for everybody with Jeff Wilson. Sorry for people with Elijah Mitchell. That's not probably going to fare well for you the rest of the season. Seahawks wide receiver Tyler Lockett's dealing with a hamstring injury, and he's questionable this week 7 against the Chargers. Don't like to see a DNPs on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That's what he had. Put Lockett closer to the pessimistic side. We'll see. Tune in Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. And that's all the news we got. Glad to see Ken Walker's shoulder not getting re-aggravated. Really excited to start him in all leagues where I got him. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Julio Jones, wide receiver for them. He's out. They said they're taking the long-term approach. Okay. Don't start Julio Jones this week. Don't start Cameron Brate. He's been ruled out as well. Tom Brady said he's not retiring mid-season. What a funny question. I really like Chris Godwin this week. He's my favorite kind of start of the week out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Moving on to the Tennessee Titans. We got a couple of them left. Whisper Nation, if you got any questions, let me know. Make sure we get those answered before. We got no action out of the Tennessee Titans newsroom. Finally, the Washington Commandos, Logan Thomas. He's been ruled out this week already. Get him out of your lineup. I made that mistake last week in my Dynasty League of Record. I was dumb. I kept him in there. Still beat you, Travis. Love you, buddy. Either way, though, get Logan Thomas out. Jahan Dotson, he's questionable week 7 against the Packers. Bit of a surprise, this questionable tag, after he was forced to leave Thursday's practice early. He's reportedly feeling better today, though. Coach Ron Rivera said the team will be on the safe side. He's probably not going to play. And we're done playing. Tyler Heineck is going to start. Keep that in mind, too. Wentz is out. All right, Whisper Nation. That's it. It's been a great Friday afternoon here with you. Make sure you tune in Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time before the games to get all of your live lineup questions answered. Me and Travis will be on there. On behalf of everybody here that makes Whisper Nation operate, I'm Austin Sear. We'll see you next time. Last plug. Patreon subscribers get entered automatically into our signed David Njoku mini helmet giveaway this month. And we will see you on Sunday, Whisper Nation. Best of luck and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. See you later.
Right here.
Look at you go. You made it to the end of another one of our videos. Hey, if you still have some questions, I totally understand. Or you just want to join an awesome fantasy football community, head on over to our Discord chat. Link is in the description below. And if you're still not sold on us, check out one of these videos.